This video was sponsored by Olight flashlights. Stick around to the end and I'll show you one of their amazing flashlights in action. Well, hello everyone, Dan Hurd with Dan Hurd Prospecting here. Welcome back to my channel. And if you're new, welcome. I hope to earn your subscription today. I'm back here on my Trout Creek claim. This is where Andy and I spent a month in the spring doing our big machine operation, testing out what we thought was a $500,000 bench of gravel, $500,000 worth of gold. Our results didn't come in quite as good as we had hoped, as we thought. So I'm back here today to find out why our early test showed way more gold than our later tests. That's the goal for today. Wish me luck, and I hope you enjoy. So today I have my dad Doug and my wife Dana here helping me, kind of because about a week ago I hurt my back, something fierce, and I don't have very much physical work in me right now. I can hardly move. So today we've got the muscles, Doug and Dana. Thank you. So my job today is to take it easy and let my back heal. Well, these two here, you know, tell them where to go and how to get there. No, I'll tell them what to do and what I want done here today. And then I'm gonna sit back with the camera, record it all, and see what the results are. But let's show you what we plan to do today. Now, early tests on this claim, just by panning, high banking, and we did a lot of them, showed that the gold here was about 0.2 to 0.35, maybe up to even 0.5 grams per yard. And that was, you know, doing tests all over the place, and they all showed about the same results. When we went and did our big machine operation, we ended up with like 0.15, like basically half of what we were expecting. Now, there could be all sorts of reasons behind that. We're gonna look and see if we can figure out why the grades of our big test were so much less than the grades of our small test. One of the things we're gonna do today, I had Andy, before he left with the big machine, dig out of the bottom of the pit a yard of material. He dug a yard of material, left it sitting on the surface for me, and I'm gonna run that yard of material through the high banker, which I know has extremely high capture rates, extremely high, and see if the grades in that yard out of the bottom of the pit show the same as what we got with the machine operation and Andy's sluice, or if they show the same as what we got with hand testing early on. Because we want to see if Andy's sluice maybe wasn't capturing as much as we thought it was. I also plan in another video to test his tailings out and run a yard of his tailings through and see if there's any gold being kicked out the back. But today, that pile, 1 yard from the bottom of the pit, run through the high banker, and let's see what kind of grades of gold we get. I will be using my beast of a high banker. It's 6 feet long. It has gold L mats at the top, green mats at the bottom. It also has capture media in the hopper. I know this high banker has like a 99, if not higher % capture rate. I've tested it many times over. I know it doesn't lose gold. So that's why we're gonna be using it today. We're gonna be running that pile. We're gonna be discharging into the hole that Andy left for me, and all should be good. You happy, Dane?
Yes. I thought you were gonna say I brought my beast of a wife.
My beast of a wife. This is the beast of my no. I love having Dad here when we're doing this high banking and running the pumps. He is a former Honda small engine mechanic. He's retired now, but he always takes care of my pumps so well. I think they've all had oil changes, fixed switches, fixed all sorts of stuff. I think he even replaced a carburetor while he was here. Dad's awesome. This beast of a highbanker has run hundreds and hundreds of yards of material. And you know, it's starting to show a little bit of wear. We actually have one leg that the bolts have stripped out of it, so we're just sitting on a rock to support it right now. And whatever slant that rock gives us is exactly what we want today. Now I asked Andy for a yard of material, and that doesn't quite look like a yard, but he probably, you know, counted out 5 scoops, which is what we were going with a yard up above. And that is also one of the things that we think has actually caused us maybe some error in our calculation, is that maybe when we were doing our hand tests, what we thought was a yard that we were shoveling was actually far more than a yard. And looking at that pile, it doesn't look very big, even though it sort of measures out to a yard from his scoops. And one of the previous piles I did, which I thought was a yard of material, and I ran the whole pile, looked like it was double that size. So that could be another spot that we got some error in our hand testing that we didn't have in the machine testing, is we were guessing at how much a yard was. Let's see. Let's get high banking. Yeah. My job for the day might be to tend the fire. Well, as they work away at that pile, maybe I'll take you up and show you the reclamation of Andy's pit up above and what it looks like after the summer. Now, this was the hottest and driest summer on record. Forest fires, devastating for the province of British Columbia. So I don't imagine much would have started to grow in here because it was so hot and dry. In fact, we won't even start doing planting of new trees and stuff until spring comes and things have a good chance of actually taking root and growing in here. This is the trench that Andy and I dug this spring with all the wood debris on top to help promote new growth. Andy does a great job of cleaning up after himself. This is the material here that I'm going to try to run a yard of his tailings. This is tailings material. Just going to run it back into that little trench at the back there and see if there's any gold that was being kicked out of his sluice. Now, as I said, I don't think Andy's sluice was losing anything, but for some reason, there is that difference between our hand tests and the machine test that we really want to find out. Because if this is an economical bench I'm standing on, we want to mine it. But if it's not, we don't want to waste our time. So how goes the shoveling? Concrete. Concrete, tiring. You look to be about a quarter of the way through already. They're beasts, as I said. My wife, the beast. My dad, the old beast. Now, being a small tailings pond we have here, it will fill up with water, and we can either, you know, take the pump and start recirculating, or better yet, we can go have hot dogs, have lunch and let it soak in, and then come back and continue. We still have, you know, a good 10 minutes worth of running, but it is getting full. Our tailings pond is full. It's time to take a break, let it settle in, and have a hot dog. Took out the expanded metal out of the top just to let that material that was caught in it go through. And what do we see? We see a lot of black sand. Looks like the mats were just running perfectly. Love the way everything looks. Lots and lots of black sand in that. I'll bring out the close-up camera to show you some of that stuff. I think I see one little tiny piece of visible gold way over there. Oh, go on. Under the flap. Yep. No, I can't see it. Yep. Anyhow, let's get the close-up. Have a close look at things. So behind the first big aluminum riffle, there's a lot of black sand building up. Definitely means we're down into the heavies because this claim doesn't have all that much for black sand. This riffle here seems to have plugged up a bit. I'll rough it up a little bit for our next run just to clean it out so it cleans up a bit better. And if there is any gold in this box, it's most likely right up in there behind the first riffle. I thought I saw one piece earlier, but it got buried. And the dream mat seems to be working perfectly. You see the right amounts of material and the right looking deposits in there. I like the way this looks. Is that a flake? No, I think that's a rock. But really, if there was any gold in what we shoveled in, it's probably up here in the miner's moss, because the hopper does do a really good job of catching the gold. But we're not doing a cleanup right now. We're just having lunch. After lunch, we'll run the other half yard, then we'll do one cleanup of it all together. Let's hope that soaks in a bit while we eat. Lunchtime!
Creek is so low, so very low. I don't know if I've ever seen it that low before. And we're now into fall. You'd think that the rains we have been having would bring that up a bit, but nope, still crazy low.
Tube steaks! Yum. You know, I have a video from like 10 years ago, probably 8, of the family up here basically doing the same thing. We were high banking, we were having hot dogs over a fire. I'll have to leave a clip of it in here. The kids are so cute. Don't tell them I said that. They don't watch my videos. Anyway, well, damn teenagers. Anyhow, time for round 2. Let's get to it. So the water has dropped at least 6 inches, if not a little bit more. There's the delta of our tailings coming out of our sluice. We have another half yard to dig and run through. And we have dug a little trough just over on the side to take the overflow into another secondary pit so we can run a little longer here. Pitter patter, let's get at her. Ah, they started without me. Well, while these two finish off this pile here, I'm gonna go see what Sibo's been up to. What a beautiful fall day. If you watch my channel regularly, you'll know that I was working up here for a month in the spring with Andy, and that Sibo, my buddy Sibo, was planning to be here with us. Unfortunately, he had some family issues that he had to bail on us, but no problem. And then he was hoping to be up here this fall working, but unfortunately, other things got in the way of that too. He has done a little bit of work on the road that he needs to build to get access to his backside where he's gonna be running a machine operation on what should be the hottest ground. So I'm just gonna go up and see how the road's looking.
This is an old mining road. We're just opening up an old road. It was very overgrown. So he's come in here, cut down all the wood, and then he's going to bring his excavator up, flatten it off into a road again, and get us access to the backside.
Which we lost access to about 3-4 years ago when they took out the bridge on the upper side of my claim. I got a video of that way back when. Anyhow, road's looking good. Good job, Sibo. I'm really hoping we get to hit Sibo's side in earnest come spring. June 1st is when we're allowed to start digging. I'm hoping June 1st we get in here and really get going. Oh no, our tailings pond filled up again really fast.
It's going down into our secondary pond, and that is holding it for now. But there's not much longer we can run before we run the risk of water getting back to the river, so we have to stop long before that.
Well, our secondary tailings pond is just about full, so we gotta call our quits there for now. That's about 3/4 of a yard of material we ran. We ran for probably a total of, 45 minutes the first time and 15 minutes the second time. So maybe an hour worth of running to run through
3/4 of a yard of material. Dad's just doing the final sort of wash down of the upper hopper. He can take the grates right out, wash all that material through. The mats will catch anything that he's releasing right now. And then we'll do our cleanup.
We only got about 3/4 of a yard run, but we can do the math to figure out how much gold would have been in a yard from what we found in 3/4 of a yard. I think we're good enough at math for that.
Turn off?
I think it's time to turn her off.
There was a little piece of gold. Oh no! An owie! What did I do? I'm bleeding to death. Ah! Okay, we need a nice, fresh, clean water in our pan. Ah, yeah. Let's take a drink of that. Oh, that hurt my back. Oh, that was too heavy for me to lift. Oh. Dad is sitting on a rose bush. Apparently, it's a little pokey. Basically, this is just curiosity's sake. We just want to see what the upper miner's moss caught separate from the rest of it. Though in the end, we'll definitely be putting it all together to do our measurements. And we already rinsed that upper miner's moss pretty good once we were shutting it down. So let's see what was still stuck in it.
Black sand washing out the back.
Sure, let's see what we got. One good piece.
Yeah, 3 or 4.
2 good pieces. Let's get out the close-up for that.
So a couple of nice chunky pieces and a couple of small specks in the upper mats, but let's go see what the lower mats caught. So we're not going to do the 2 mats separately. We're just going to throw it all in one bin here, take it down the river, wash it out, and then wash out the sluice itself, pan it all at once, and see what the mat's got. It should have the majority of the material. Dad will have to lift for me. My back hurts. And then just running the pump for a quick second afterwards washes the sluice out completely.
Sarcasm at its finest.
Dad pulled the pump away from the river already. We'll have to wash it out by hand. So here we go. We have about a pan's worth of material from the mats. I'll help Dad out here. Splash some water on it. And he tips it.
If we'd have brought that little black pan.
Not even a pan. Half a pan, if that. This will be a slow pan to do though, because it's all black sand.
Black from where I can see right now.
So it looks like we have a good 1.5 to 2 cups of just solid black sand in there. And a rock.
One wash and you're back to the sand.
Dad is much more cautious with panning than I am. I take these things pretty quick.
My vision isn't as good. And if he sees a chip go over, then I'm in trouble.
I'll fire him. Well, it took a bit to separate from all that black sand, but there's the pile of gold, minus those 2 bigger pieces that were up in the top hopper. I'm gonna just give you a good shot of those with a close-up and then put all the gold together. We'll have to take it home to weigh it and then do some calculations.
Well, there it is. I'm guessing that's 0.1 to 0.15. There's about 3/4 of a yard of material we ran in an hour in the highbanker. Nice looking gold, sort of typical for Trout Creek here, kind of small but chunky. And there are 2 bigger pieces in my snuffer bottle already. We're gonna suck that up, we're gonna take it home, we're gonna clean it all up, weigh it, give you good shots of the clean gold, and then do some calculations of what that 3/4 of a yard, and see if it's close to Andy's findings or our hand test findings from before. Love the look of gold. Now let's time warp home and do that cleanup properly. So there we are. There's the gold in 3/4 of a yard of material from the bottom of that pit. It comes out to 0.132 grams of gold. Now let's do the math and see what would be in 1 yard. So after doing the math, it looks like this would be 0.174 grams of gold per yard from the bottom of that pit. Probably the most indecisive number I could have come up with. Halfway between the hand testing and the machine testing. We will figure this out eventually. Back here on the river to say goodbye. Hope you really enjoyed this video. There will be many more videos coming from Trout Creek Claim here. I have one more test to do this year before the snow flies. I want to test Andy's tailings and see what was in the tailings. I also have lots of videos to do in the spring with Sibo as he opens up his the second machine operation on this claim where we have found nuggets before. That is going to be amazing. We just got to get going on it. Again, hope you enjoyed. If you did, please leave me that thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed already, I really hope I've earned your subscription. And a big thanks to everyone for watching, especially my patrons. Because of the support of my patrons, I get to make these weekly episodes of Dan Hurd Prospecting. Hope y'all have an amazing day. And until the next video, bye!
Bye.
Bye! Olight is having another Christmas sale. Some of the flashlights they are featuring this year is the Batten 3, the little mini guy in his own charging case, the Array 2S, the best headlamp you will ever find, the Olight Seeker 3. This is my go-to flashlight, and it is amazing. 4,200 lumens, and the Warrior 3. This is a spotlight. It will light things up at about 1 kilometer away. It is crazy how far this thing shoots at 2,300 lumens. 1,000 lumens on the headlamp, more than bright enough for going into adits, into caves, into mines. And this little guy is a perfect one to keep charged in your vehicle for safety's sake, for the emergencies. Olight flashlight. Check out the link below if you'd like to get your own.